of requests to show how I make my beer bourbon glaze. So I had to make a batch tonight for dinner, so I figured I might as well take you guys along with me. So let's do this. So I got my pan going over here. Got it on high. We have a cup and a half of dark brown sugar. We have 3 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, 3 tablespoons of beer, a tablespoon of Jack Daniels. You can use more if you really like the bourbon, and a tablespoon of blue agave syrup. And we're going to make sure we get all of this. We have a teaspoon mustard powder, teaspoon of garlic powder, granulated garlic, and a teaspoon of red pepper. You can amp that up if you want to kick it up a little bit, and start mixing. Now I also do a variation on this as well, where I add orange juice. Works really nice on chicken or anything like that. So you want to just keep this mixing. The beer and everything else will start to foam, so you have to be committed to mixing. And you let her go on some high. Try to keep them sides clean. Give her a second, let her get to a nice boil. You want to bring it up to a nice boil while you're stirring it. And you'll see what I'm talking about here in a minute. As it foams up, you want to keep spinning it, and it'll knock down that foam. And you do that for about, I don't know, I usually do around 3 minutes, 4 minutes, something like that, of it at a boil while I'm spinning it. And then I'll cut the heat down to like a low medium, and just kind of let it bubble simmer here and there. And then after a certain amount of time, I'll bring it down to a low and just let it sit. But you'll see it'll get, it'll almost be cloudy. And the more you cook it, it'll start to clear up and it'll start to thicken. Okay, as you can see what I mean, we got her up to a nice boil. She's starting to foam up. So this is where you start putting them arm muscles in. Because if you stop, it grows. And believe me, this stuff is like napalm, and it's unbelievably sticky. So if it gets on your stove, you're really going to be hating it. So keep knocking it down. Keep stirring it up. I like to get it knocked down a little bit. Give it a second. And then knock it back down again. We're going in at about the 2-minute mark now on this. And you can start to smell it. It smells fantastic. It's super simple, great alternative to barbecue sauce, because I'm sure all you guys know, I'm not a real big fan of barbecue sauce. I don't feel like you need to drown your meat in that stuff, The trend is dead, man. A nice glaze, especially when it's paired with the right seasonings and flavor. It really is awesome. So I'm going to, now that I got this, see if you notice the color has almost changed. You can see that clarity in between the bubbles. That means that sugar is breaking down real nicely in there. So that's around the point that I bring my heat down a little bit. I'll take it down to like a medium or so. I've noticed if you do any kind of rapid cooling, it gets cloudy again. So I try to gradually bring that heat down a little bit. I've noticed it just turns out better. So I'm sure there's some science somewhere behind that. But we ain't gonna get into all that. But yeah, see, as you can see, we have a real nice, just a nice clarity going underneath all that top of them, that foam, you know, underneath there. I mean, I've had it come out cloudy. I've had it come out clear. It doesn't change the taste at all. You know, it's just more so appearance than anything. And I've noticed that if it does come out clear, the clear batches seem to hold. So if you have anything left, you can actually put it in the fridge, and you know, it gets tight, but you can actually reconstitute it. You know, just throw a little heat at it slowly, and it comes back to life. When it's foggy, it almost gets grainy. And it doesn't really like to play any games with you. So now we're gonna bring this down a little bit more into the low zone, and give her a couple of rapids. And yes, I have tried using a stick blender to do this. It does not work well. Not to mention it almost puffs everything up, but it also throws napalm all over your house, on your shirt, 3rd-degree burns, all that fun stuff, you know? But see, as you can see now, see, it's got a nice thickening to it, and it only gets thicker. So I'm gonna bring that down to a real low and just kind of let her hang and do its thing. I'll mix it, you know, every few minutes. I'll come over. If I see that the top is getting a lot of foam on it, just quickly beat it down so you're back to that, you know, clarity level, and let it go for, I don't know, probably about 10, 15 minutes. Let all those flavors get to know each other. And then brush it, dunk it, sop it, whatever you want to do. So once I get it to the point to where she's a finished product, I'll bring you back and show it to you.
Here we go. So, yeah, I knew where he was going. Hi, Bags. Hi.
Who's home?